Woodards. I'm your host for this evening, Craig Woodard Sr., and joining me is my co-host, Deontay Cooley. DC, what's going on, cuz? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Today's been a long day, man. Got to play in the snow a little bit. It's been a long, busy one, but yeah, I'm doing good as usual.
Hey, man, I know you love the snow up there. You going for dog walks in the morning time and catch a little playtime when you can. I know how you do, man. Hey, everyone, the DC loves the snow. Loves the snow. I moved to Tampa to get away from it. I had to get away from it, but it is all good, man. Hey, thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone, as well, for episode 52. And we're just going to get right into the interesting stuff, the meat of everything that we want to kind of discuss. Today is day 161 in the Justice for Cello investigation. For those of you that need to catch up on what we're talking about and where we're at with this update, please take a look at some of the former shows that we had, some other episodes, and we got into some deep detail as far as what occurred. So let's start off with DC, the county council meeting on Tuesday. Good meeting. A lot of people. Andre Horton's last county council meeting, and I know people can kind of feel his presence, and pretty soon we're going to feel his absence. How did you feel in that day? And you gave him some really good rave remarks, and his son spoke. I mean, it was a really good atmosphere, but I don't know if our message went on deaf ears or not.
I'm not sure. I don't think it went on deaf ears. I believe everybody understood what was said that night. It was a historical moment, and like the most interesting thing about that is like Andre was the one who encouraged me to come to at least those county council meetings. He told me in the past, right before he ran for state senate, he was like, man, it's a lot of different things going on in the county, and a lot of people come to me and approach me for things that I have no control over, and they don't realize what my job is. Because I encourage you all to come to some of these meetings, just take a listen, So me and Big, Lonnie Sherrod Sr., we started going down there. It was just him and I would pick him up to go to meetings, or we would just tag team and go down there and listen and learn. So, as time went on, I understood the importance of showing up to those meetings and then learning how to read the agenda and understanding the agenda just from Andre. Then we have conversations after, he would just catch me up to speed on a lot of different things. So like that last meeting was like, it was again, it was a historic moment, but it kind of was heartfelt too. And then to see his son like come up there to speak at the last meeting was just, man, that hit me in the chest for real. Like when Kennedy went up there and he spoke, I'm like, I'm gonna go after him, like, because I felt where he was coming from. And Dre ain't my dad, but it was just like for me to be able to see and to watch his legacy and to know that it ends there, and then also to understand that we'll no longer have representation in that room for the next 2 years, or maybe even longer if nobody else decides to run. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was just a bunch of different feelings happening at the same time, because it's like, we advocating for justice for cello. We'd have been down there meeting after meeting. We didn't yell, we didn't scream, we didn't cry, we didn't host meetings, and like we knew that at least it was one person who was sitting up there who understood where we were coming from, to where now it's gonna be like we finna just be going up here screaming at people who, although they may feel our pain, they will never understand where we're coming from. They will never understand what we go through. They will never have endured or can say that they've endured the things that we're enduring. Now, they can compare, you know what I mean? Because this is not to take away from anybody else's trauma. This is not to take away from anybody else's hardships, but understanding that when we say representation matters, we don't just mean it in the school. We don't just mean it in the police forces and stuff like that. We mean it in places and spaces where decisions are being made on our behalf, and we have no representation. So that hit me as well. And that's why I was kind of like, I was upset. I used some vulgarities in my But again, when we talk about, and when we all are screaming Black excellence, and you have a Black councilman's son coming address him and thank him. And then on top of that,
Yeah.
still sound off and articulate his words and deliver his message in a manner that can be understood on the level of the people that he was speaking to. It was just like, we about to lose all of this after tonight. Like, this won't happen again. It has never happened in 223 years, I believe, before he got there. He
Yeah.
served his 12 years. So then we got, after those 12 years, we about to go back to however long it's going to be without the representation being in the room. So that said a lot to me, and I understand what that means as far as like me educating myself a little bit more on local government and understanding
Hmm.
the importance of Andre sitting in that position and the role he played. Yeah, it was sad to see, man.
Yeah, it definitely was, even from a distance, man. And I've known Uncle Dre, man, since I was young. You know what I mean, and grew up with the family, man, and to see the political power that family has, the Horton family has been pretty incredible. And the last 12 years, having him in a position of power was definitely historical for us in the city of Erie, and we no longer have that now.
Right.
I know Jimmy Wirtz is coming in. Jimmy Wirtz and I work together at WICU 12. He's a good dude, and you know Jimmy very well as well. But staying on the point, we have nobody in the room. None of the seven will be a representative of one of us, a person of color like us that can feel like us, that can relate to things like we do, that has that different perspective. And that's the dynamic that Andre brought into the room when they would be behind closed doors and even out in the open as well. We lose that, man, and that's really really tough. How do we approach things going forward, knowing that we don't have that representation that has maybe given a heads up or given a different perspective, maybe open some eyes to the other council members so that when they are able to hear the public, they're able to understand a little bit more because their colleague is us.
Oh man.
There we go. We pop back in there. All right. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like the most important thing that we do is we continue to show up. We keep going down there. And I
Yeah.
make myself very clear when I said, like, when we talk about appointments, like the people who are on council, the areas that they oversee, they aren't in all those spaces all the time. So what they do is they assign people and they appoint people to boards of different authorities that the county oversees. So in that way, hey, these are my ears and my eyes in the room, and this is somebody that I trust who can make decisions on the best in the best interest of the citizens of Erie County. And every county council person has board appointments. Now, I don't know the number off the top of my head, and I don't
Hmm.
know all the authorities that they oversee to appoint people. But what I do know is what they can do is engage more with people in the community who not only live in the community but who understand what's going on. And we need to be appointing people to boards who have an influence over community, who have a say so, and who are actually working hard, because you can't replace Andre Horton. You know what I mean? And we can't say that any of those council people will ever understand where we come from, regardless of being empathetic or even to the point to where they feel like they want to be sympathetic.
Hmm.
It's just like, it's impossible. And this is not me like pulling the race card. I stayed away from race throughout the last 5 months when we had this conversation, just because I didn't want it to get torn to shreds as far as like, wow, we've been seeking justice. But when we talk about county council and we talk about losing, and then so Andre will be at city council, which is city at large. So the
Hmm.
thing about that too is people need to understand is he'll be responsible to more people than just the second district that he oversaw.
True.
That will be a win for the Erie city. But when
Yeah.
it comes to things in the county level for people, black people, or for even anybody, because Andre said he spoke for a variety of individuals, like,
Right.
we won't get that perspective anymore. And this is the crazy thing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I said this the other day on the show. I think I admitted this to Malcolm, and me and Andre had a conversation about this.
Hmm.
Andre was like, listen, man, don't run for city council, run for county council.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't know nothing about county council. I don't know what they do. I'm concerned with the city of Erie. He asked me where I live. He like, you live in Jim Wynorski's district. You might stand a chance to beat him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be done. This is it for me. So there's nothing that I can do. And I'm like, me thinking me, oh, he don't know what he talking about. I ain't running for county council. I'm running for city council.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, and this was pre-cello. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you fast forward, and we're going through all of this, and it's a good thing we did get Jim Wirtz. But then I was just like, and that's what I said when I'm like, I sent that message to you. Like that's what I told him. Like I admitted it to him. Like you was right. You know what I mean? Because now here we are to the point to where we have no representation. I know Michael Keys, he ran for that seat as well. He didn't make it through the primary, but I believe I may have had a good chance to get that seat had I would have followed the advice of Andre. So I'm willing to take that one on the chin.
I know you would have had a great opportunity to be one of the seven. No doubt about it. I mean, the way things have been, not even just recently, because you ain't new to this. This isn't nothing that you just woke up and was like, hey, here I am. No, you've been doing this for quite some time. I think the impact that you have had over the last 5 months has been very prevalent because of the situation that the state has put us in, right? And we're fighting for justice for Cello by any means necessary. And we need voices out there because there's other people out there that don't like to speak. They don't like public speaking. They don't like crowds. They, have anxiety. They don't like to go on the news. They don't. There's a lot of different things that people don't want to do, but can do things in the background. But you're all of that and some. And I think when you're out there and people listen to you, cause I get compliments all the time, man, from people all over. We got viewers in Canada.
Oh
I get
wow, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
we get viewers in 2% of our viewers are in Canada, and so I get inboxes all the time from people, and they're like, "Hey, your cousin Deontay, he's very intelligent. He knows what he's talking about." Like people hear what you're saying and believe every fabric of what you're saying. Because that's what leadership skills are all about. And Andre has those leadership skills clearly, and game recognizes game. So that's why he was pushing you to run for county because you definitely would have won. I know there's a whole bunch of people in Erie that would have voted for you. And this time around versus the city, if you ran for county, we would be talking about some other stuff right now on the podcast because you'd be one of the seven. And that's my confidence that I have in you as well. Do you kind of look back and be like, you know what, I could have been that person to continue the legacy that Andre passed the torch on to me?
I mean, I'm gonna say yeah, but then also again, like I said, this was pre-cello, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then when cello passed, I believe I would have still had the same energy, and it was still another election to go.
right.
And if you realize, pretty much nobody who was running
Mm-hmm.
for the general election, like after the primaries, was more or less like the people who were helping were behind the scenes because it's like, I don't know which way this is going to go for me. And I'm the type of person to where like, it was never about being popular. So I would have been
Right.
advocating how I've been advocating. And from the conversations that I've had with some people and messages that have come my way, like I know everybody doesn't agree with the things that I say. Everybody doesn't agree with the things that I stand for. There have been people who have been trying to take shots at me. So
Yeah.
honestly, I know Andre did encourage me to do that. I may have made it through the primary, but if everything else would have still played out the way it would have played out, because then you have to realize with the district attorney's office is in the same building where they do the county, I would have been
Yeah.
at her
Next door.
door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would have invited her to those. I wouldn't have been like, well, you guys need to be patient. I probably would have done some things that I wasn't supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would have did it out of passion, out of love for the people who I've been advocating for, to where my behavior probably been frowned upon anyway. And God makes no mistake. So I'm
No,
right where I'm supposed to be.
absolutely, and that's how you got to look at it, man. And we can always wonder. we can
Right, right.
man. And I just know if the Lord wanted you to be in that position and He put you in that position, you would have been in that position for a reason, and you would have done a damn good job, man. And we all do know that. And Dre held it down for 12 years, and
Absolutely.
man, we're gonna miss Dre. So shout out to Uncle Andre Horton, man. You haven't changed a bit, sir. You haven't changed a bit. You've held it down strong. Represented the 814, and we thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And I know you're not finished yet. You know, he's got some work to do at the city council as well. So, um, let's see. Let's talk about anybody stand out speech wise at the county council meeting.
So I didn't produce it and put it out there because I know how Art is. But are you familiar with Arthur Gamble?
Oh yeah, Art. So Art Gamble, he grew up, and he's a little older than me. But my cousin Earl is his first cousin. My aunt Erna was a Gamble, and she married my uncle Elmer. And Art Gamble Senior and Junior, they grew up right across the street from me. So if you're on 25th Street, right, and you're going west, you're on 25th in Holland, and you're driving west, and you come down the little hill to French Street. So you're on 25th and French, right? That first house to the left, Art Gamble lived in right there. And if you looked straight ahead, that was where my mom's house was. You would drive right through our living room. So
Mm.
yeah, Art is
Yeah, man. Art. So I met Art along when I got the job at Mercyhurst. I met Art along my journey up there. You know, and he been like real quiet behind the scenes in my ear though. He done put me on some books that I need to read, and I done read and listened to. Like,
okay.
yo, this dude is sharp, having different
Yeah,
conversations with him. But I know from conversations that I've had with him, like he just played the background.
yeah,
So when I seen him pull up to the meeting, I looked in the car like, oh, that's Art. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So when he came there, I believe that he came. He was just coming, you know, because Dre, you know, it was Dre's last day.
yeah.
A lot of people showed up just to watch Andre. It was like a historical moment. But he
Hmm.
grabbed the microphone and he went up there and he spoke. And he was trying to hold until because Andre went to the bathroom or something. But
Oh,
like, I don't remember every single thing that he did say, but I do know that he was saying like, no matter what, like this ain't gonna stop us. We still gonna thrive. We can't trust or expect y'all to do nothing. And he was like, I don't even feel bad for y'all for thinking this way. I feel bad for the way that y'all was raised and the people who raised y'all because y'all don't even know no better.
yeah,
And he said it like his delivery is very calm, demeanor
yeah.
very calm. So when he's up there
Hmm.
and the stuff he was saying, I'm just listening like, yo, he coming at them in the most
Hmm.
civil, respectful way. And then if you know Art and you know like his background, if you know his level of education, you know his
Yeah,
intellect, it was like, yeah, this man ain't just up here talking for no reason. And
right.
he came down here to give Andre his flowers. And he said he'd been playing in the background for a little bit, but he was like, it's only so much that you can sit back and watch. It's only so long that you can just wait. You know what I mean? So I think like him, and again, I didn't record his video and put it out there because like out of respect for him,
Yeah,
um, because I know how he lives his life. But he came and did that himself, and I think like a lot of people appreciate it. I talked to Shamir and I talked to Shamel afterwards, and we just kind of talked a little bit about the meeting, and that was appreciated. And
yeah.
then Abdullah.
Okay.
So when Abdullah came, when he first was talking, it
Hmm.
took a second for it to register to me what he was saying, you know, because I'm
Hmm.
like, as he talking, I'm like, what is he talking about? Because you know he come like he prophesizing some stuff, like so Abdullah come in and he bringing in like he bringing in some literature and some knowledge, but pretty much what he was saying was like what he said was people praise the hunter until the lion writes the book, right?
Mm.
I think what he was the analogy or the comparison that I got was like everybody says how good the hunter is and the lion should be killed because we all just consider the lion to be just this crazy animal, but
Hmm.
nobody ever talks to the lion to understand why. And
Hmm.
he said the hunter is glorified until the lion writes the book. And he was saying pretty much we are now the lions. We need to continue to write the book and we need to continue to write our own story so people can understand that the hunter is not as big and as good as you all think it is. But
Yeah,
as he was saying it, I'm like, yo, what is he talking about, man? It
yeah,
was because he started with he's delivering some points. He acknowledged some people. He acknowledged Andre, and then he went into the, and I'm like, so then I went back and watched it later, like,
Hmm.
oh
Hmm.
wow, okay, I get what he's saying now. So yeah, pretty much like what I got from that is like we can't stop. You know what I mean? We can't allow nobody to hush us or silence our voices, especially with the change of the administration and it being all white faces. And then we know, I guess I'll say historically or statistically, how white people feel about black people.
Yeah.
So from what he was saying is like we the lion and we can't just go away and we can't not speak up and we can't not advocate for ourselves because what will happen is the narrative will continue to be pushed as though we are bad, we are evil, we are violent, we are angry, we are rage beings, and people need to control us by killing us, by locking us up, or by um um for lack of better words, domesticating us. And I
Yeah.
think that spoke volumes to the importance of us continuing to go to those county council meetings, continuing to go to those city council meetings, continuing to make those phone calls and make those social media posts because the second we stop, we'll be forgotten. Nobody's advocating for us like we're advocating for ourselves, And there are
Yeah.
people who want us to go away. So the second that the message dies down, then it'll all look like, hey, they were right. This man deserved to be killed. And all those people went away because they knew what they signed up for and they
Yeah.
signed up for too much. So yeah, them two dudes when they came in there and delivered. And then it's always good. Everybody who normally comes was there, So I was there, Malcolm
Yeah.
was there, Jerry
Yeah.
was there, Cindy
Yeah.
was there, Mimi was there, Michelle was there, you know what I mean? So we had the
The crew.
consensus of the group, Shamel was there.
Yeah.
Um, but then it seems like every time, like, and then Kennedy came back,
Hmm.
um, Andre's son, man, and listen, that dude is smart. I don't think a lot of people realize how sharp Kennedy is, and
Hmm.
he just like he stay out the way, and then he'd just come drop a bomb and then just disappear. You know what I mean? And drop a bomb and disappear. But
Yeah.
he came back and he spoke because he spoke up at he was at the town hall meeting that the Human Relations Committee had, and
Okay.
then also a lot of people don't know, but Kennedy is a person who spoke before me at that very first meeting that kind of went viral.
Hmm.
He was the one that got the energy going. The comment of "I'll clear this room" was not to me.
Right.
It was
Right.
to him
Okay.
because
Okay.
he was like,
Yeah.
he was hitting him with heat. So it's like, whoa, y'all got to calm down. And then
Right.
I came on and I followed up, like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. So, but yeah, when Art came and spoke, like I said, it's always good when you get a new face, to come down there and you get a new person to say something because
Yeah.
it's always new information being presented.
Yep.
And then you have more heads, more voices, and then these are prominent people. So I
Yeah.
think we've gotten to the point now to where it's more intellect, facts, and information, and it's less emotion, screaming and yelling. I mean, me, I did get a little, but outside of that, like now it's people who are when they come and grab the microphone, they speaking with facts and they speaking with intellect. And then I had a conversation with Shamel too because she was like, I wanted to, and I did. And I told her like, listen, you don't got to keep speaking up. You know what I mean? You don't got to keep coming up. We understand, what you're going through, and that's what we're here for. We're here to fight for y'all. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like even when Shateria was at the city council meeting, she said, "It's my first time, and it's probably gonna be my last time." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we understand that. Like that's what we here for.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
kudos to them for being strong enough to show up. But please don't ever feel bad because you feel like you didn't say something. And I
Right.
told her that personally, but I just wanted to make let
Yeah.
that be known publicly as well. Like we here for y'all. So y'all don't gotta let nobody shame y'all into feeling like you gotta show up to every meeting or that you gotta comment on every post or you gotta watch every episode or every video. Like
Yeah.
we understand how traumatic this is for you all, and it's unfortunate that we gotta talk about it so much, but it's by no means to be disrespectful, and it's by no means to try to continue to re-traumatize you all. And we understand that, if y'all need to take y'all a break and to fall back, like nobody's gonna judge you for it. And y'all know how to reach, those who've been fighting the hardest. Like, so
Yeah.
we always are accessible to you all, but y'all don't got to keep putting yourself in the public if y'all don't want to, and understand and know that the message is still gonna go on.
Yeah. We will keep it going, and that's why we all jumped off the porch in the first place, is so that the close family can take the time that they need to grieve. And by all means, I know Malachi is not done with his grieving process, but he spoke up when he was ready, and he is making some moves now because he's ready. And so there's different time frames for everybody, but just know that we all have your back. We all have everyone's back, and we ain't going anywhere. Glad that Art Gamble came and spoke some words of wisdom. And Abdullah, what I get from how you explain that, I get everything that you're saying and agree with it 100%. And I would like to add that we can't stop because we have to let people know who we are. And as lions, we are kings. We're kings. And they need to know our story, plain and simple. And they need to hear it from us because that's the only way that they're going to be able to relate. And we just talked about that with the county council members. No disrespect, but there's no kings up there anymore because Andre's not there to give our side of the story, to give our perspective. I think people need to understand what it is and what it feels like to be a Black American. I mean, unless you've lived our lives, unless you've gone into a store and you've had an employee of the store follow you around, man, I tell people all the time, cuz there's not a day that goes by, not a day that goes by that I don't see or feel some type of racism. There's not one day that goes by. I don't care what I do, where I work, I see it all the time, and most people, that that are not African American, I'll say it like that. They don't notice what we notice because it ain't targeted to them.
Absolutely. And if anybody want to act like, if anybody wants to act like that's not an issue or that shouldn't be a concern of ours, then I'm not even going to say it's ignorance. Like, I think that you are actually helping exercise racism. We're not saying that the county council is racist, but what we're saying is there's no identification for us there, and they will never be able to understand where we're coming from. And that needs to be recognized. That needs to be acknowledged. And we as Black people need to recognize that, and we need to acknowledge that. And we need to continue to come together and unite and make sure that we're speaking up for what we want. And then we also need to act in a manner as though we deserve the things that we are requesting.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. 100% right. I think sometimes it's going to be very tough for these people to understand exactly where we are coming from, but hopefully things will change, man. But when you look back in the 50s and the 60s, things have changed a little bit, but we still got some work to do. We still got a lot of work to do, man. I wanted to bring something in here. I want to read a couple things here while we kind of talk about what we're talking about. Time to talk about day 161, and we're going to poke some holes. We got some really good feedback from the last podcast where Deontay and I were poking some holes in the stories here and playing this. Hey, what if the devil's advocate and this and that. So sources tell us that there was a task force in the area that night. And that's why the Erie police were there. I want to read this for you. People say, there was no task force. Now, let me just read this, right? So we got, here we go. Law enforcement and public safety, Erie Area Gang Law Enforcement is called Eagle Task Force. This is an FBI Safe Streets task force that combines federal, state, and local law enforcement officers to target violent criminal organizations, drug distribution networks, and the apprehension of violent fugitives. Gun Task Force, a regional multi-agency task force involving local, county, state, and federal partners, was formed to combat gun violence and the possession of illegal firearms in Erie County. You got the Drug Task Force, the DUI Task Force, you have a Northwestern Pennsylvania Emergency Response Group, and there's a couple others. But Other sources tell us that the task force was in that area because they made a stop earlier that night, and they trying to get guns off the street. Okay, we get it. You know, we want to have a safe neighborhood. We want to get guns off the street as well. But let me read this here. Adult probation officers generally do not need a search warrant to search a probationary's home or person if it's a condition of their probation, as probationers have a reduced expectation of privacy. However, these searches must be reasonable and based on reasonable suspicion of a violation or an unlawful conduct, not just a hunch. And police officers can't use the probation exception to avoid getting warrants for their own searches. The scope of the search, home, vehicle, computers, is defined by the probation order, often requiring consent to search all property. You know, when you look at something like that, um, and I've heard this story before about the task force possibly being in that area. That's why the police were right down the street. Um, you know, and uh, everyone there, they were all involved. They saw Cello, followed him, um, and the Erie police. Um, let's just say that the Erie police are a part of this so that they can avoid the search warrant because they have already involved the adult probation that does not need a search warrant, right? So that's the makeup of the team. So going back to the situation, when Seelinger gets out of the car, 12 seconds later, three shots rang out. Um, why did that have to happen if they already knew that the Erie police were down the street? Why wouldn't he just be like, hey, one got away, he's coming down your way right now, pull him over? Why wouldn't they do that? Now, sources tell us that a task force was going on and there were a number of cruisers in the area down the street, not from a 911 call, they were already there. This is what sources tell us. So if sources are saying that and the suspects knew that the police were there because they're on the same team, why would he then shoot to kill and not call? What say you?
I mean, again, we do some speculating and we talk about messages coming. Like,
Yep.
this was all like news to me. But then somebody was like, hey, somebody sent me a message like, hey, I noticed I don't want to be messy or nothing like that. But then they mentioned that Kevin Seelinger had a sister who passed away.
I was about to bring that up next.
They
Yes.
mentioned that he had a sister who passed away from
Mm-hmm.
a drug overdose, and
Yep.
somehow, some way, he had been holding some type of grudge towards drug dealers, right?
Yes.
So again, and again, this is just speculation. If you have
Absolutely.
somebody who's been a convicted drug dealer in the past, who's supposed to get off parole in 2 weeks, that's on your watch, and you're part of a task force, and you already know that police are going to be present with guns drawn,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that maybe he has some motive to do this, and then maybe he thought that the police would support him because they would already be out in the area in the neighborhood with their guns.
Yep.
So when the car rolled down the street, he knew the police is going to be down there. Let me get out of here, because you would think, again, if I'm being drugged by a car and this is the beginning of the crime scene, me as a parole agent, I should probably stay here to make sure that the scene isn't nothing bad's happening. And then on top of that, if I'm being drugged by a car, then I'm hurt. And I also
Yep.
have a partner who I can tell my partner, hey, you follow him. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna call 911 for help, get an ambulance over here because I need some help. So what was brought to me and what was presented to me is Kevin Steelinger has some type of vendetta, and this is alleged, and I don't
Yep.
even know the person who sent me this message. They've been sending some messages. I guess he has some type of grudge with people who sell drugs, and he has it out for people who sell drugs because of whatever took place in his family history. And to me, it just kind of seems like this would have been a perfect opportunity for him to get away with one. But I do not think that he expected for the Erie police to say the very next day,
Yep.
it wasn't us. So then
That's
it's
right.
like, oh, the police aren't going to take this one, even though I'm on this Eagle task force. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to leave me out to dry. I don't know what to do. Now, again, this is all just speculation. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because again, this is all based off of information that's just coming from all over the place.
Right. And it's good to talk about it because it gives you something to think about, man. When these, it kind of combats some of these comments that we've had from some of these trolls out there saying all these negative things. But there's another side here, you know what I mean? And again, I've had a couple people have mentioned to me that Kevin Seelinger's sister passed away from a drug overdose. And so he doesn't like drug dealers, and so when I start to think about this, man, we can go back to some of the facts that we actually do have, from the right to know. As we said on the last show, 4 documents state that Cello was supposed to be off probation on January 18th of 2025, but yet he was supposed to be off July 18th of 2025, and there's no documentation, nothing signed that we have seen that has been presented to us. What if he has those 2 weeks left before he's off of that date's probation, and Seelinger looks at this like, you know what, this is my opportunity.
Yeah,
This is my opportunity.
yeah,
I'm gonna put my hand on this door. I'm gonna say I was dragged, and I'm gonna commit this crime. And I got people to back me because I don't know if another opportunity in the next 16 days is gonna present itself.
right. And he knew that I can't extend it anymore because didn't you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
can I can't even prove the first extension.
Thank
How
you.
am I going to prove a second extension? How am I going to run this past my subordinate and say, hey, this guy needs to be on parole longer than what he's already on, and
Right.
pass this file across the desk, and the parole, and the supervisor's like, whoa,
Yeah.
isn't this guy supposed to have been on parole? So again, to me, I'm no attorney,
Yeah.
no judge, I have no legal degree or nothing like that. This is all speculation, but seems like he had some type of motive to do this thing. But the craziest thing about it is like when we talk about devil's advocate,
Yeah.
and we talk about what if
Mhm.
everything that we're saying is true and the district attorney knows this, right? You know what I mean? And what if she's aware that
Yeah.
she's thoroughly investigating because we've all been at this the same amount of time, and she has way more resources
Yep.
and has access to way more information than we have access to. So I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure just like people are tipping us off and sending us messages, people are tipping her off and sending her messages too. So as time goes on, I'm wondering if as we're getting new information, as she's releasing these statements,
Yeah.
are there people who are anonymously reaching out to her that she, regardless of if it's anonymous or not, she has to take their information into consideration and is all making sense? Because some of this stuff is just, some of the stuff may seem like it's far-fetched, but then some of it just makes too much sense for it to not be true.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And also with the time frame of everything is you and I over the last few weeks, actually couple months, man. We've been at this with a lot of the different scenarios and things. If something is brought up like what we have brought up, it's got to be worth investigating because like you said, if she knows some of this stuff and her resources is thicker than what we have, you would have to look at every single, a good attorney would look at every single one of those possibilities to see if there's any validity to it or not, and maybe that's why the investigation is taking so long. And like I said on the last podcast, I'm not giving Elizabeth hers a pass at all, because I'm still upset that she has not come out with a press conference. That's just normal and what you should do. But if she is a great attorney, and by the way, she's the first female attorney in Erie County, right? As a DA for Erie County. So she's got to take pride in what she stands for.
Right.
That's like what Andre did. You got to take pride in that because of what you sit on, what you believe in, and so you got to be there to do. Uh, well, I'm gonna put it this way: as a black man, I got to work twice as hard as anybody else at my job. Plain
Listen, Mr. Rush told me you don't got to work twice as hard. You got to be twice as better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And that's real. That's coming from us. That's just what it is. People won't understand that. And with Dre not being on the county council anymore, they're not going to understand where we're coming from. And you have to understand where we're coming from when we say that. I said it. Deontay knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? But you can have a different conversation with someone else, and they'll be like, "Well, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean?" They're never going to get it, right? So, with her being in this position as a female in a
Come on.
male-dominated profession, in a male-dominated profession, she better take pride in what she's doing. So, I feel like Kobe just giving you assists, right? And Deontay just throwing up assists like Jordan and stuff. And if you don't shoot the ball and shoot to win, something's wrong because there's a lot of information out there that needs to be investigated. And I'm okay with the time that's spent for this if she's doing all of what we're talking about, because everything that we discussed, DC, there's no reason why there has not been or should not have been a full investigation on a lot of these things, especially the whole vendetta thing. Why would you not look into that? Right? Maybe
Well,
she
again,
is.
right. I was about to say, and again, we don't. And
Yeah.
it might be something that they have to look into to rule out before they just say these guys are on the internet just running their mouths, because this information isn't coming from just anywhere. You know what I mean? It's coming from people who know Kevin. It's people who coming from who have past relationships with him. It's coming from people who are just outright tired and they're saying, well, maybe if you guys try this, then they'll give you
Right.
the answer that you're looking for. And it's like, what's interesting, like thinking about this, like I'm thinking about that podcast I was listening to last night with Malcolm, when he was on there with Sonia Massey's father, Mr. James,
Yeah.
and they was having a conversation about like all that they've been through and everything that they had to fight for. And it was like listening to Malcolm, and they like, we willing to help, we willing to do whatever it is that we need to do. And Cindy put the phone number in the comment section. And the
Yep.
people said, like, yeah, we're gonna call the district attorney and we're gonna come down there because these are some of the things that you all need to be doing. And that man does not need to be employed. And what's crazy is somebody just sent me some information saying
Oh,
that maybe Kevin Schillinger works at PennDOT now. You know what I
yes.
mean? Pennsylvania entity. But going back to that podcast with Malcolm last night, man, I was listening to a lot of stuff that was said, and I love the fact that he went on there and presented the way he did. He held it down.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody from Erie who was watching, we held it down in the comment section. And I
Yep.
appreciate Miss Tawanda Jones and her staff for reading all the comments and letting the rest of the world like see how we coming about Cello. But that was huge for Malcolm to be on that platform with
Yeah.
Sonia Massey's father and to be talking about the things that he was talking about and to get more national recognition is what we need, because I don't think the district attorney, either she's not taking us serious or she's not answering us because there isn't enough pressure. Again, we're not asking her to rush it, but are you considering the things that we're talking about? So
Right.
now that we have more eyes on us on a national level of individuals who have suffered similar cases or a similar loss that some of us have dealt with here,
Yeah.
more or less like, yeah, we need to continue to apply pressure and I guess, be considerate of the possibilities, the speculations, the what ifs. Again, what if this is bigger than Kevin Seelinger? What if this is
Yeah.
bigger than all? What if throughout all of this investigating and all of these questions that's being asked, and I wish we had the chain of command. I
Yeah.
wish I had the list of the names of the chain of command in the Department of Corrections and Parole all the way up to Governor Shapiro. Because I
Yeah.
said something the other day, like, Jared always keep us up to date on what Governor Shapiro's doing. And he talks a lot about Erie other than justice for Cello, and I'm curious to know why.
Yep. And you're 100% right. We talked about this on the last podcast as well. Is that this as a district attorney, you're in a position to um, solve a huge crime or justify injustice, right? And so she's in that position. And I think because, and this is why we talk the way that we talk, and we're bringing up the things that we're bringing up, and we're poking holes in what we need to poke holes in, because she can't say, oh, no, we didn't investigate that because I didn't know about it. No, you know about it. We all are talking about it. It's all out there, right? So, like we said on the last podcast, what if something like what we're talking about does happen, and he was, um, um, you know, imprisoning Cello for 6 months unlawfully, and that's uncovered in her investigation, and he has had a number of other parolees underneath him. You got to go back and you have to check every single one of those files in those cases and see, is there any tampering going on there. It could go really, really far up in the state and the chain of command, like you talked about. And going back to the podcast, West Wednesday yesterday, Tawanda Jones, who is the sister of Tyrone West, who was murdered, she had to pay $50,000 to get his body exhumed. And they didn't think that she was going to be able to come up with the money. She came up with this money on her own to have her brother's body exhumed. And what she found out was incredible. He was not an organ donor, and they sold or got rid of all of his organs. He had no organs in him, and she had another special autopsy done. The most prevalent thing, not the most prevalent, but one of the other prevalent things was he had this yellow outfit on, and it was not the outfit that he was buried in. What is going on? And that's proof that these people in these powerful positions, these powerful positions can cover things up and do things fraudulently and make it seem as if we're never going to find out. And what if that's the case right now with Cello? I mean, hearing from Tawanda, I'm sitting there thinking, like, wait a minute, they could make anything happen. They could make anything happen. And they had no idea that she would come up with that money to exhume the body and find out all of that information. And we're talking about this stuff now so that before a decision is made, we want you to know that we know what possibly could happen. So don't try us because we're poking holes in this whole situation.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, like what's crazy, and I know we all have strayed away from this conversation, but think about the lawsuit, right? Think about the lawsuit because again, first of all, wrongful death, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
we're talking false imprisonment. So not only do we have wrongful death from a state agent, we
Yep.
also have a state entity imprisoning a man who they should not have been imprisoning.
Yep.
So we talking suing the state on different. Not we. When I say we, I just meant the conversation wise.
Correct.
We're talking the state has a possibility to be sued for false imprisonment,
Yep.
for false death, and then
Mm-hmm.
you talking all of the trauma and all of the family damages and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So then once this happens,
Mm-hmm.
and they win these cases, think about it's just gonna be like Diddy. Like think about all the other people that's gonna come out. Oh yeah, I remember this time. Reopen this because I complained and I filed
Yep.
grievances while I was incarcerated.
Yep.
Now, when you do that, it's going to be all of the people who signed off on these forms saying that this one unfounded or this was inmates or parolees just complaining. All
Right.
of that comes back into play. So that means the state is going to have to pay for attorneys. They're going to have to pay, and the district attorney is going to have to use city funds or county funds to be able to pay for the resources that you're applying. So
Mm.
again, although a lot of people may feel like money doesn't need to be a part of this conversation, money is going to play a major role because in the event that things go the way that we think that they are going to go, or in the event that we think that they should, the
Mm-hmm.
second that he gets a guilty verdict, this whole state might be under duress. And again, we have a governor who has aspirations to become president of the United States.
Speaking of him, um, you know, they were supposed to be provided, and I say they, I mean the district attorney as well as Governor Josh Shapiro, supposed to be provided with Cello's resolution. We don't know the time frame, as you stated to me earlier, of when there's supposed to be a response, but we've been making noise for quite some time, and we know that we've reached out to Shapiro a number of times. Shapiro was here in in Erie, at least, and it seemed like some people didn't want to ask him. The people that were close to him didn't want to ask him about this investigation. We had a mini protest there when he was there as well, so he saw those signs. I still remember Cindy
Yeah,
standing.
but I'll tell you, I feel like he ran from me. Like them Secret Service agents, they
Yeah,
definitely had their eyes on me, and they made sure to keep me away from him. But me made eye contact, and he took off.
yeah. I just I wonder how this is gonna play out with the resolution. And Jared said something that makes all the sense in the world. It's like, is he the governor of Pennsylvania, or is he a presidential candidate right now? Like, he's been saying a lot of things about Trump, 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 but there's a lot of issues that we need him to speak and to be focused on right now in Pennsylvania, outside of all these other things.
Absolutely, you worried about the country, and you can't even hold down the state.
Exactly. That's not good. That's not good. Man, I tell you, just listening to the podcast last night, listening to the fire that Tawanda had, and also listening to Mr. James Wilburn as well, and the things that they had to go through. Um, what a platform that was, and Malcolm did a really good job on there and held it down. And the one thing that I can say that I was very proud of is, number one, all of the comments that the people of the city of Erie had put on there, and they went through and they read every single one of the comments, man, and they read the emojis.
Yeah, yeah.
they, they read everything, and I really think that um, you know nobody in any of these cities knows how to um, do what we're doing until you actually do it. You know what I mean? And then you reach out to other resources and stuff, and you get ideas and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you what, Erie, Pennsylvania has spoken. We have been loud. We have been heard. We've been everywhere. We've been on different podcasts. Me, you, Malcolm. I mean, we've been everywhere trying to get this word out. And then Malachi with the petition. That that did it right there. But the resolution's done. Me and Jared was talking about it earlier. It's like we're in a we're in a stage right now where, and I said this, you remember I said this too, DC. I said, I do not want this to be our pinnacle. I don't want the fact that they voted unanimously for the resolution to be our pinnacle. We got more work to do.
Oh,
And I,
yeah.
and I, and I, and I feel like we have some other things that we need to do to keep the ball rolling. And the other thing we were talking about was this trip to Harrisburg. I'm hoping that is going to be probably one of the next hot topics amongst the city council and county council meetings. Of course, will be present at those. But how pivotal would a trip to Harrisburg be? And do you think we'd be able to get inside?
Oh, absolutely. They gotta let you inside. That's
Yeah.
the people's house.
Okay.
Yeah, so you go to the Capitol, they can't just say you can't come in here. Now, of course, you got to go through the security check, and if there
Right.
are events taking place, then you may not be able to get in. But that's the
Yeah.
people's house.
Yeah.
I mean, so we go down there. So what the goal is try to get something to arrange, so then that way we'll have an opportunity to present something, and we're
Yeah.
not just being a disruption.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a part of the plan. But talking about that resolution, like I would like to know, and there's a city council meeting next week, and I'll ask it, but
Yeah.
like, what's the time frame on the response for that? Because it's
Yeah.
been 8 days. It's been 8 days. So I'm wondering, is it Does she got 5 business days to respond to the city council, or is it 30 working days for her to respond to the city council, or does she have to respond to them at all? Did they
Yeah.
deliver the message? What type of response did they get? What type of feedback did they get? And are we gonna go to Harrisburg? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
again, these are some questions that we do have, and it's not going to be the pinnacle. I'm glad that they were finally willing to, after 150 something days, acknowledge the fact that they could put something in writing.
Hmm.
I'm appreciative of Susanna Faulkner coming and speaking up, but like you said, that's not the end. And that's why I said what I said at the county council meeting. And that's why we're going to continue to go hard and stay focused, because now that time is going on and other issues are coming up, people are trying to say, oh, okay, well then that's the guy who says this. Can you say that too? And like, I don't want to get distracted. I don't want to get deterred. And I don't want anybody I've been rocking with to get distracted or to get deterred, because we've gained some momentum, and we
Hmm.
need to continue to ask people to join us before people are asking us to join them.
What did Jared say here? She responded to their letter in July, the day after. Another thing too, and Jared, if he's going to be at the meeting, or maybe even DC, if you have time to ask, maybe we can revisit the question to City Council about the letter that was written that they sent to the governor. Have they done any type of follow up? We already know that there hasn't been a response, because they would have told us what the response was. So now it's okay. You didn't get a response. Um, do you just accept that? Is that your own move?
Listen, Jared asks him every time, and they just look
Yeah,
at us.
like you
Usually it's
said.
Jasmine that's just shaking her head.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd love to. I'd love for them to at least say something, or pick up the phone and do some type of follow up. But I don't know.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like, I'm glad that I mentioned that, because I do believe I said at that city council meeting that I let them know, like, you all are public figures, and we are watching the things that you all do. And
Right.
just as you can be just as active as you can be on Facebook with antagonizing Republicans, and you know what I mean, talking about other things of your people, you can for us. And I was specifically talking to Jasmine. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we friends on Facebook. I'm not sure why she hasn't unfriended me, but then I see her again posting a status like antagonizing people because she won her election. I mean, by all means, if that's what you're gonna do behind closed doors, do it. But when you publicly sharing with us that I nana boo boo somebody who didn't want me to win,
Right.
it's like, yo, you still acting like a child. And I've been nice. Like, people have
Yeah.
asked me to take it easy on her, and I'm
Yeah.
like, out of respect for you, I will her. But this can't continue. And then
Yeah.
I get on Facebook and I see her antagonizing somebody who's an advocate for whatever they're advocate for. It's like, yo, why won't you advocate for us? And why are you on Facebook sharing that you out here antagonizing people because they don't like you or they don't agree with you? Well, if you're going to antagonize somebody, help us antagonize somebody. Like, we need some answers. We need some type of communication. And she sat in that meeting and she wanted to justify why she appointed people to the board. And she was like, if you guys know some candidates, then let me know. But here we have Jared, who goes to those water meetings regularly. He's talking about the safety of our water regularly, but you're relying on the board, which says to me that you're not connected to the people. If the board can just say, yeah, keep this person there, and that's what you decided, then it shows to me how connected you are or you aren't with the community. And then
Mhm.
you go on the internet and say that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Why can't you help us antagonize people to get some answers for Cello, like you're helping yourself antagonize people who didn't want you to win? Like, the election is over. You
Yeah.
won. You got 4 more years. It's nothing to celebrate. It's work that needs to be done. And we need every single elected official to understand that we are taking this seriously, that we are watching them. We are paying very close attention to them in person and on social media. And I appreciate those who are elected officials who are continuously talking about local government. People
Yeah.
like Brock Copeland, who's always dropping information. I don't always agree with everything that I see, but what I will say is he is very consistent with releasing information that is educational for the community, for everybody. Now,
Yeah.
again, the information that he puts out may not always be for justice for Cello, but what I will say is, as an elected official, he does his duty to make sure to inform the people, and it's not always antagonistic behavior, or it's not always him just trying to look popular or look cool. So I'm tired of the popular politicians. I'm tired of the politicians who want to look cool. and want to try to appease to the community, especially when it's a community that is crying and grieving and have been grieving for 160 days. Like, we need you all to put that energy into helping us, or put that energy into finding some resources to supporting some of the people who are struggling. Put that energy into reaching out to family members or to friends and say, hey, what can I do to help you? But like, at this point, we done called out everybody and we done did all kind of things, and it just still seems as though people aren't paying us attention. You know what I mean? And when I say people, I'm talking about the people on this level who we've been asking and asking and asking. That's why I'm appreciative of Malcolm, making those national connections, because Ms. Tawanda Jones was like, well, I'm gonna connect you with this person, and he was supposed to talk to Fred Hampton Jr. that night, so he's waiting to have a conversation with him. He spoke with Mr. James. Me and Malcolm have had conversations with Marquel Bridges. So like, Malcolm is bringing powerful, prominent Black people in on our conversation, because our powerful, prominent people of color, and I say people of color because I mean Black and brown, are stepping for us like how they should be. And this is what I'm just gonna say it, because I was having a conversation with Shamir and Shamel, and then I was even having a conversation with Malcolm, and I'm like, when you look around the room, right, we're all the Black people. You know what I mean? And again, like, I'm talking, we got Cindy that's showing up every meeting. We got Mimi and her husband showing up every meeting. We got Deanna who's showing up, a young girl, her mom, her aunt, her grandmother. We got Dr. Suzanne, Dr. Sue Kulagowski showing up, Susanna Faulkner showing up, like, and then it's just a group of Black people. You know what I mean? But then there's so many people on the internet, and there's so many Black people saying, oh, y'all need to be doing this and y'all need to be doing that. But it's like, we've had Angela Amatangela, and I'm just going to start. Daria's at every meeting. Mary Walsh has been to the meetings. Chelsea Alcor. And I'm naming these people because these are my friends, and they have reached out to me to say, hey, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
And I say, just show up, and they just show up. You know what I mean? But then you see Black people on the internet saying all of this stuff, and it's like, yo, well, y'all show up this time. And people like, when is the next meeting? But they don't show up. So, like, I'm saying this because we need you all to start showing up. And if it takes for me to present to you that white people are showing more care and compassion for justice for Cello than Black people, then I don't care if it offends you. That's just the reality of it. If you come to a city council meeting, or if you come to a county council meeting, you'll see more white people than you'll see Black people. And I love it. I'm appreciative of it, because I feel like they're bringing awareness to their friends. I feel like they're bringing awareness to their neighborhoods. I feel like they're bringing awareness to their communities. And they are genuinely asking, what can I do to help you? When I talked to Shamel and Shamir, she gave me the names of some of the people who have reached out to her, some of the things that they have etcetera to do for her, some of the favors. Somebody inboxed me asking if they can make a donation. I sent the screenshot to Malachi. I sent the screenshot to Shateria. Somebody wanted to buy a gift card or a food card or something. I sent, listen, here's Malachi. This is his name. Reach out to him. But again, when we talk about like our people who are antagonizing us on the internet, or our people who are saying we doing it wrong, like when it's time to show up, they ain't showing up as we're making progress. So this is a challenge. This is a call out to Black people to be just as active as some of these white people are, because I'm standing at a county council meeting and I'm telling people we have no representation up there anymore. And they could have easily looked at me and said, you don't have any representation behind you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They could have been like, well, yo, who is you talking about? Who are you speaking up for? Where are these people in which you speak of? We see them on the internet, but the internet is not a real place. You know what I mean? The internet is not a place that it matters. The internet is not public official record. But again, you have these people that, and I'm glad I just seen the comments, because even Tina Hyotis has shown up multiple times. Her husband Constantine has showed up multiple times. They both have grabbed the mic. They not even from here. And she repped the East Side like she from down the way. She like, I live on the Lower East Side. I'm from Parade Street. She be screaming Lower East Side and Parade Street like she didn't grow up in the trenches. And you got people who grew up in the trenches who ain't saying nothing. But the crazy thing is you'll see those people with subliminal messages taking shots or having little slide things to say, Or they taking shots at Shamel, and they taking shots at Snowy, they
Yeah.
taking shots at Malachi, Michael, Deuce, me, Malcolm, Terry, Jerry. It's so many black people that's trying to make us feel uncomfortable about us seeking justice. But when it's time to speak up to the people who can make the decisions, or when it comes time to speak to the people who are in positions of power or authority,
Yep.
everybody got an excuse as to, oh, well, I can't talk like you, or I had to work, or I didn't know what time the meeting was, or oh, I forgot. But you can get on the internet, and when you see something, you screenshot it and send it to your friends, or it's conversations about us. Like, when do we get to the point to where all the black people who truly act like they concerned with cello actually come to the places and spaces that matter? Because there's even people saying, yo, y'all go to them city council meetings, like that's gonna mean something, like that's gonna do something. Well, where is we supposed to go?
Right.
This never happened before. What is we supposed to do? And then another thing that I'm tired of is people like, oh, well, the only way something gonna happen is if y'all tear something up. That might be true, but look at my face and all that I've been through, and I cannot be the person to tear something up, and I'm not gonna tear something up. So for anybody who feels like that's what needs to happen, don't try to put a battery in my back to go do it.
Right.
You don't need permission to act. I didn't ask anybody for permission to go to a city council meeting. I didn't ask anybody for permission to go to a county council meeting. I didn't ask anybody for permission to post on Facebook, to get on social media and say anything. But yet you got so many people saying these are the things that we need to do, and in the same time, they ain't doing nothing. So for all of those people who have so many opinions, all of those people who are saying y'all ain't seeking justice for Cello, right? I would strongly encourage, and I would appreciate it so much if you would do some of those things that you said that some of us should be doing, because again, this is not easy.
Right.
Nobody expected this to happen. We didn't say, okay, let me make sure I allocate 5 months of my life to fight for justice for Cello who got shot and killed. Like, nobody expected this, and nobody knew what to do. But now that this stuff is going on, where is everybody at?
Yeah.
Like, I truly want to know that. And I know this is going to rub people the wrong way, because even when we had a town hall meeting, I said, where are the men at? There was subliminal posts. I get phone calls. I get text messages. I'm not afraid of anything. You know what I mean? So all of the side comments or the talks or whatever, or people not even want to interact with me anymore, and I'm like that. Like, I could care less. Like, I've been in here from the beginning. You know what I mean? I'm not going nowhere. And I've seen so many people, oh, Cello was my man. That was my bro. Where's you at? Or what is you doing? Because again, social media, it does make noise, but it doesn't get changes that happen. So we need, even if you can just come and sit in a room, if we can be in a room 150 people deep, I would love that. If Cello was alive and he would just say, yo, I'm having a party at city council, the first 100 people get in free, and whoever got the nicest outfit on getting 500, the room will be full. And I'm saying that because I seen Shateria post something like that. So if he was having a party at the city council meeting, it'd be packed. But the crazy thing is everybody who goes and parties on the weekend, they all say justice for Cello. They all say they got love for Cello. So again, I'm only calling y'all out because I want y'all to show up. Not because I want y'all to go away, but what I'm saying to you is there are people who don't look like you who are fighting harder than you for your own neighborhood. They're fighting harder than you for your own community. And they are joining some people who live in this community and who are from this community, who are doing every single thing that they can possibly do to make sure that something like this never happens again. Because Cello is no longer here. So they can't kill him twice, but they can kill somebody else. And it can be you, or it can be your brother, or it can be your uncle, or it can be your son. And are we going to sit back and wait for it to happen? And then the craziest thing is God forbid something happen to anybody, I guarantee you they'll know who to call. And it'll be the same people who they antagonize. It'll be the same people who they scrutinize. They're going to say, hey, yo, what did y'all do? How did you get in touch with this person? What should I do next? So what I'm saying is let's not be reactive. Let's be proactive. There are people who are in the street, who are going to meetings, who are working the phone, who are saying it loud, and who are showing up, and we need more people. I don't want to hear people say, oh, well, I posted or I make phone calls. I'm asking for you to show up. I'm asking for you to be present, because something I took from the conversation that Malcolm had the other day on that podcast was she said, there are people who they lost who are boots on the ground. You know what I mean? Some people, they'll scare you, or they'll try to intimidate you, or they'll even kill you. Once they start getting rid of one or two, then the message dies and people stop talking. So it's like, yo, If that's what y'all want to see happen to us, then just shut up while we work. And if you don't want to shut up while we work, then I'm asking that you please help. You please, and that's anybody. This
Yep.
is not to anybody. And that's just not to one specific individual. This is for Black people of Erie, Pennsylvania. We need y'all to be more present and more active. You said it's what, day 161?
Yep.
First 2 or 3 weeks, they thought, oh, we wasn't gonna be serious. First 2 or 3 weeks, they thought this was trendy. They thought this was a fad. They thought, oh, they just trying to get clout, or they just trying to boost their joint. We 5 months in. It's
Yep.
been people who started with us and who then disappeared. It's been people who had some things to say and then realized, oh, this is not a likable or a favorable thing for me to say, so let me stop saying it. Then
Yep.
you got people who have put it on the line each and every day, even when they didn't want to, even when they was tired. No breaks, no days off. That's just constantly going forward. And people would tell, oh, I got y'all back. I support what y'all doing. I love what y'all doing. Keep going. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask y'all to come, like all the people who send those messages. Yo, I love what you're doing. Keep speaking up for the community. Thank you, King. And all the people who comment on the videos that we share and we screen record and we drop, like, we only share those on the internet because we know people don't come to those meetings and people don't look for themselves online. But that stuff happens live action. And anybody can come and anybody can grab that mic and you can say what you want to say until they ask you not to say it or they tell you out of order. So, and I know this was a long rant, but it's like, I feel like I have every right to say what I'm saying because, like I said, I have been here with you all since day one. I have put it on the line. I have been scrutinized. I have been criticized. I have been followed by the police. The police are still following me. And when Tawanda said last night, like when she said, when y'all start thinking stuff is happening, don't let nobody make you feel like you crazy. If you see something's really happening, I seen one police officer 3 times in one day in 3 different places. 3 different places. And one of those places was behind me. I literally looked out the window and waved at him like, I see you. You know what I mean? And I know I'm not crazy, but these are some of the things that we going through. And yet here I am still sitting in front of a computer running my mouth. And just 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I was in front of the county council calling them out. And I'm still texting politicians and saying, yo, we ain't going nowhere in any new progress. And I'm still checking in with Malk every day. And now me and Cindy didn't even got back cool to where me and Cindy, hold on. Me and Cindy, we text on a regular basis. And at one point in time, we kind of like butted heads. So, you know what I mean? It's getting to the point to where it's growing. I done gotten arguments with my white friends because they saying, hey, help me understand what's going on. And then you got Black people that's just sitting around who understand everything, who aren't speaking up. And I can understand that some people may not have the courage, but I'm going to encourage you to have a little bit more courage because now is not the time to be scared. God forbid something happened to the main core of people who have been advocating. People don't even know what to do because hell, we don't even know what to do. So, man, this is my rant. Like, but again, at the end of the day, like, I just want to see more people show up because we have people showing up who don't look like us. We have people showing up who aren't from here. Tawanda Jones was on it. She said, let me know the next time y'all do something. I'll drive from Baltimore.
That's right.
We had a town hall meeting. It was people from Pittsburgh came up here. We had another protest. Some people from Pittsburgh came up here. So we got people traveling from out of town to help get justice for Cello when Cello was literally from and in the neighborhood and had an impact on hundreds of lives on a regular basis. And we can't get these people to show up. My question is why? And I don't care for anybody to try to say, oh, well, who you think you is to say this? Or before you try to break me down, before you try to call me out, or before you try to say anything about me negatively, I would just ask you to answer the question of, why have you not shown up to help seek justice for Cello? What are you hiding from? And what are you afraid of?
Sarah also came up from Black Lives Matter Buffalo to one of our protests as well.
Yeah, I remember that. Her and somebody else. Yeah,
man. So listen, I want to say this because I support every single thing that you just said, right? This is the importance. This is very important. The reason why I'm pro-Black. DC, you're pro-Black. Malcolm's pro-Black. Terry and Jerry, pro-Black. Michael, pro-Black. Deuce, pro-Black. We're pro-Black. We're not racist, right? There's a huge difference between the two. And there is a strategy about our delivery and why we started this whole thing with Justice Tricello, where we were not making this a black and white thing. We did not make this a black and white thing, even though Cello's black and his parole agent is white, because we need everybody fighting for justice for Cello. And if we would have done that and we would have come off like that at the beginning, July 3rd, July 4th, July 5th, we wouldn't have had the backing of the Sisters of Benedictine. We wouldn't have had the backing of a lot of our white friends out there that support justice and what's right. And Malcolm said it right. Malcolm said, this is a right and a wrong thing, not a black and a white thing. And that is exactly what it is and what we're doing and why we have so much support from all of our white friends. But where are all the black people at? Where are all the black people at? You know, and I see it all on social media as well. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to do my part from down here in Tampa. But I question that as well, man. We can do better. And we can do better because we have a lot of support from all of our white friends as well. Imagine how powerful we would be if all of us were together, you know? So I'm with you, man, 100%. I'm glad you said what you said. I back you 100% as well. It is what it is. You know, these folks, they gotta come out and continue to speak or start to speak for justice for Cello, because we need everybody, because this moment, this situation, this investigation is going to change the fabric of Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm telling you, this is one of those things where it's going to go down in history. It is the first time that this has happened in the state of Pennsylvania, and the second time that it has happened in the country. And you wouldn't even know about the first time in the country because they ain't raising hell like we are here in Erie, Pennsylvania. So we are making history right now. And the decision that is going to come out is going to affect the fabric of Erie, Pennsylvania. Why would you not want to be involved and want to come out and speak up, man? I'm telling you. So everyone's got to come together, man. We're all on the same team. We all need to be preaching the same thing. Justice for Cello, day 161 and counting, because we're going on, and we had no idea, like you said, we would be here 5 months later, with a countdown or a count up, if you will, you
Right,
know.
right.
But we're going to continue this, man. We're going to keep going, and we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to keep thinking of inventive ways to present what we have, and different scenarios that we could come up with, and of course, passing the message on to the powers that be. So let me bring D back on here. I don't know why it keeps popping off like that. Connection happens. But in closing, D, I know you went off. You had a rant, and rightfully so, man. I'm glad that you said what you said because it needed to be said. And a lot of people, they're not going to like it, but they have to respect it because you have to respect truth. And that's exactly what it is. So in closing, any parting words at all?
Absolutely. What I'm learning is I've come to be the deliverer of unlikable messages. Right. But what I will say is I've never been accused of being a liar.
Yeah.
I've never been accused of being a liar. So although people may say, "Oh, he's an asshole," or he got a smart mouth, or he always think he know what he talking about, or he think he know it all. Nobody is running around here saying, "Oh, that Deontay be lying," or that Deontay don't know what he talking about, or he's saying that because he's just mad. Everything that I said, all the things that I have been saying, if I have not said allegedly, have been true. So again, and I've been at every meeting, and I turn around and I see that we are lacking black people, and there are a lot of prominent black people in this community. There are a lot of strong, powerful, resourceful black people in this community who have a say-so in what happens, or who are trying to work themselves up to have a say-so in what happens. And I'm curious to know where they are, because even when we talk about organizations, we've had representation from Erie Dawn, Jefferson, Erie Arts and Culture, Citrus of St. Joseph Network. You know what I mean? So when you think about stuff like that, we put everything into perspective. Like we need our people to advocate for us too. And we shouldn't even this shouldn't be 161 days in, and we're asking where are all the black people.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad that we're having this type of conversation 161 days in as a call to action to get people that look like us to fight for a person that lost his life that looks like us, you know. But we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it moving, and we're going to keep advocating because that's just what we do. We hope you'll join us in our journey for advocacy as we fight for justice for Cello. We will be back, etc., with the Woodards. Episode 53 will be on Sunday night, probably around 8 o'clock or so. D, what time are you done bowling?
So I don't know the bowling. Is it bowling this week? Yeah, 8. We go 8:15. I might go a little early, but the only reason why my Sundays be late is because I be bowling. So I don't want nobody to be like, oh, he.
No, we I'm still pushing for you for that 300 game. So we know.
I get a 300.
ESPN, you go.
ESPN. Bob learned.
Bob learned, my man. That's right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your insight tonight, man. Thanks for giving me your time, DC. I really appreciate it. All right. All right, man. Hey, we're going to wrap up, man. For Deontay Cooley, I'm Craig Woodard. Good night. We'll see you guys around 8:15 on Sunday night with episode 53 of Etcetera with the Woodards. Good night, everyone.